Here we go, we're doing a hard mode top 5 with 3 learners. Honestly, not ideal. I believe if you're doing learner raids, you probably want to do a 4 scale instead, and maybe not take 3 at once, but you know what? It's fine, it's fine. So we're going to be the North Freeze roll here, but here in Maiden we are going to be cross freezing. We're going to open up with an accurate T-bow hit into the Ralos. If everything's on time, someone should have hammered. There we go. We each Ralos once, accurate T-bow into the Rapid. It's not quite on 0 defense right now, but that's just due to, I guess he didn't spec. Anyways, 70's coming up, so switch into our Mage gear. We're gonna catch South 1, then North 2, and 3s and 4s, since we're the North Freezer. Full disclosure, I'm not in my most optimal setup here. I did pack a little bit more food, just in case. Same thing on 50s. We are stacking, so we're pushing for the crabs to spawn, the first 2 sets of crabs. Alright, so that's 70s and 50s. We're going to take care of the crabs now. We're going to help out the ranger. They are chinning it, and I am barraging it. Typically, I chin it as well. But, you know, like I said, we're not doing it the most optimized way right now. 30s, we are going to catch 1, 2, and 3s. South Freeze is going to catch 4s. That way we're both on the boss quicker. I'm going to ZCB. I was camping my light bear the entire time. East Freeze, I am indeed East Freeze. Yes. Alright, that was Maiden completed. A little bit slower than our earlier one. All good though. Eat an angler, make room for the salve, equip the salve. We're gonna swap into our range gear here with the ZCB. We're gonna be flinching bloat a little bit. Just for some potential extra damage. Not necessary by any means. And we're not using the salve right now because that is a regular salve E. It's not imbued, so there's no range bonuses on that if I'm not mistaken. I'm actually just going to go for the 2 hits there. Typically in a normal TOB, I go for 3, but in hard mode, bloat has a tendency to turn more often. I think always twice, if not always twice. Oh, we're going to go open up with a Chally into 3 side swings and a Chally. You can get the 4th one if you're on time, but to... Oh, okay. You know, things like that happen. We're going to Chally right now. We're probably going to tank the stomp. We did. We're okay, though. In hard mode TOB, you want bloat to chase you. You don't want bloat, or you don't want you to chase bloat. That's because of the way that it will turn. So it already turned once, and we're going to react to bloat. There it goes, it turns. I'm going to get my Dragon Claws ready. That was a very abysmal first down. It was 59%. Let's see if we can still get the 2 down here. Everyone is alive, so that's good. Oh, that's not good. Ticky? Oh, it didn't need a ticky. I got 2 people down the blow, unfortunately. Perfectly average, though. Bloat room is a killer. I've actually lost my divine pot here. I'm gonna repot just before we swing at bloat. Another person falls. Down goes bloat. 2 people dealing 20% damage? This might be a stretch. I don't have spec either. Ticky. So yeah, a bit unfortunate. This is about to be a 4 down bloat. I'm actually out of prayer, and I'm greeting a little bit here. I refuse to sip a dose. So please don't fly me. Again, we're doing hard mode TOB with 3 learners. I would typically advise against this, especially on a 5 scale too. I think a 4 scale raid is best when you're learning hard mode TOB. 5s is just, it's faster, it's more fun, it's quicker, but probably not ideal for learning. Nor is it ideal to take 3 learners at once, but you know what? It's fine. Down goes Bloat. Re-equip our Rancor, we can drop the salve now. It's just a regular salve E. We're gonna swap into our mage gear. We'll get a stamina and fill the rest of the inventory up with some sharks, some food. Stamina is probably not really necessary, but I'm gonna get it here, you know, just in case we need it. Now here, the ranger or the melee is gonna pot share. I'm an Iron Man, so I don't get it. Unfortunate. And then we're gonna enter Nyla room. Nyla room's mostly the same. The key difference is you have to be more careful of what you hit, because if you hit incorrectly, you're gonna take damage. And secondly, on waves 10, 20, and 30, there's gonna be these mini bosses that it's always gonna spawn melee first. You want to sight chally them to get rid of them as soon as possible, then focus on the waves again. And then I'll try to explain the Nilo boss a little bit more when we get there, because there are some differences there too. So we're on wave 8, wave 9, the Nilo Prince is about to spawn. Now everybody except the ranged roll is going to hop on the Nilo Prince here, sight chally. And I say everybody but the ranger, because the ranger has to take care of the wave 10 rangers, the doubles. 11's going to be the majors, so we're going to barrage those. And this is just dependent on the team you're running with, but I'm mostly going to be camping on this east lane here. Personally, I do a lot of tobs with my fellow freezer here, so we're pretty accustomed to which Nilos we're going to get. Wave 17, 18 is going to be a ranger over here. 19 is going to be an aggro mage. Unfortunately, we don't one-shot it, but the IAC actually allows me to hit it twice before it flickers. Okay, 20 is good. There's going to be a demi-boss right here, Nilo Prince. Sight chally. $21 doubles on the west side. I actually splashed on one of them, interesting. We gotta keep an eye on pillar healths here. In hard mode Tob, it is a little bit more difficult. The pillars, I don't know if the pillars have less health necessarily. I'm not too sure on the details. But it does get a lot more hectic in hard mode Tob Nilos. And the freezers can't afford to just freeze everything, otherwise they're just gonna inflict a ton of damage to themselves. Is I best in slot for Tob now, mage-wise? Indeed, it is. Okay, out of habit there, I swapped to my... Well, at least my prayers, I was getting ready to deal with the 30 Prince. In most typical teams, you're not going to deal with the 30 Prince. You're going to ignore it and take care of the Nilos in the room. If your team is a bit more experienced, though, by all means, you can afford to do that and get rid of that Prince quickly. But in general, in most instances, you're going to pray against the Prince, but focus on the waves, the actual Nilos in the room. And then deal with the Prince at the end here. So I mentioned the Nilo boss being slightly different. It's the Queen, I think it is. Or is it a Nilo King? I think it's a Nilo King, right? So you see how everybody's pinging? The Ranger's not going to move. However, everyone else is going to have to move. So melee, everyone can stand wherever they like. However, we're going to assume it swaps the range now. It does. We have to step away. We have to spread apart at least 2 tiles apart from each other. ZCB here. So mage, everyone has to stack on top of each other. Otherwise, a mage ball will bounce between us, doing a lot of damage. Also, the mage orb is very, very punishing. I mean, all the attacks are very, very punishing, so make sure you prioritize movement and prayer before hitting the boss. What I like to do is do one attack, then like a 4-away switch, one attack. So you see right there, someone was actually spread apart during the mage phase, and we took a bit of damage there. Luckily, not too much, though. And that's the Nyla room completed. Honestly, a 433 given the learners, pretty good, pretty good. We're working with 1 dose super restore here going into Soat. I think it should be fine. Should be fine. So as my role here, I don't have an Elder Maul. Again, this is something you coordinate with your team, but I don't have an Elder Maul, so naturally I am going to be filling. And where am I going? I think I'm going northwest. There are some differences at Soat again. I'll just explain it as they come up. We got the T-bow pre-fire. We put our T-bow on accurate there because I know I'm not going to be Elder Maul specking anyway, so my first scythe swing should, in theory, swing after the defense reductions. Luckily, both hammers hit, so we're doing a lot of DPS right now. P1 officially over. Now in hard mode top, the maze is inverse. We have everyone but one person in the maze, and each person only gets a part of the maze. So it's a team effort type of thing. And it's always going to be in orb order. So Joe in my party was the South Freezer. He's number 1. So he got the first part of the maze. And I'm second in the orb order. So I got the second part of the maze, and so on and so forth. Once again, the hammers all hit, so that's a feels good. Again, we can go ahead and claw here. Unfortunately, we lost a guy on P2. Alright, the orbs are out. And there's 2 orbs. So if you don't have the orb on you... Oh, that was gonna be bad there, but... If you don't have the orbs on you, you stand in the traditional center tile that's marked. So this is a perfect example, actually. We are now on the overworld. We do have to wait on the 3rd row, as if we were in the maze ourselves. Because there's going to be a NATO that spawns in the overworld with us, and one in the shadow world. But going back to explaining the orbs, or the big ball, you do want to, if you don't have the orb on you, you want to stand on that red mark tile right there, right at the center. If you do have an orb on you, you want to stand next to it, the tile's adjacent to it. That way the damage will split evenly, otherwise people are going to take a whole lot of damage. Okay. Not too bad, not too bad. Heading into Soat, this is going to be the last chest that we can buy from. I'm going to pick up the stamina. Honestly, the stamina is not necessary, and if you have an experienced team, the stamina is most definitely not necessary. But if a few people fall off during Verzik, stamina could become an issue. Okay, let's figure out our inventory here. I have a ton of supplies, actually. This is very weird. Typically, I go into Verzik and Zarpus with 2 brews, 2 restores. But I have all this room with me right now. I definitely want a second restore, and that's the standard. I'm going to get a brew and a prayer pot, perhaps. I'm going to drop the sharks. If they need my sharks, they can get it. What did I say? I was going to get a brew and a restore, right? Yeah. Or a prayer potion. I don't have any points left either way. And it's not like they can give me anything, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm the only Iron Man in the raid right now. Which is actually pretty unusual. Typically, I play with a lot of Iron Men. And like maybe 1 or 2 mains, but... it's the inverse, right? So the corner you were assigned or picked at Soat, you want to stick to the same corner at Zarpus. This is just a consistency thing. Don't confuse, each other. I am going to focus on this corner over here, this quadrant. We have a 5th person actually roaming around to fill where needed. So I'm actually just going to keep my Ultor on. I was thinking that I would Scythe BGS Scythe to start Zarpus, and then regen my spec to get a ZCB spec off later. However, that's inefficient when you camp a Light Bear. I mean, it's a very minor detail there, but yeah, ideally you don't want to do that. What I typically do in the more experienced hard mode Tob runs is I bring a God Book, and that just perfectly times my spec energy to where I will get a ZCB spec, but nothing to concern yourselves with in a learner hard mode Tob. So instead of ZC being here, I guess I will just claw spec at some point. I'll do so right here. Okay, I misclicked and I didn't switch back to my site. Little claw scratch there. So we are 5 ticking our scythe here, which is a little bit more efficient than 5.3 ticking, which is what you would do if you just have that one swing in where you, or it's not a swing, you that one instance where you run in, but your character is on weapon cooldown and does nothing. This method that I'm doing just make sure you're constantly swinging your scythe whenever you can. So hard mode Tob Zarpus, actually easier. I say as someone dies, which is unfortunate, but the gist of it is that Zarpus is always going to turn to whichever direction it got attacked from. So if you're just off tick with everybody else, and everyone sticks to a corner and attacks, should be nice and simple. With a 5-man, it is a little bit more complicated. You can see here that Joe is synchronized with me. Yeah, that's just one more thing you have to concern yourself with in a 5-man. Because there's only 4 corners, right? But 5 people, so it complicates things a tiny, tiny bit. I'm looking at my inventory here, and yeah, okay, I was a little confused. I was like, why is my inventory full? But it's always full during this stage, unless I'm very down bad on points. I am going to equip my Light Bearer here for Verzik P1. And I imagine for a learner raid, we're not going to do anything crazy. We're just going to do Verzik P1 the good old-fashioned way. Everyone dropped a bit of supplies to both make room for the staff, the Dawnbringer, and for other people, just in case they do die early. I'm very curious as to how this Verzik's going to go. We shall see. Yeah, there's varying methods you can do Verzik P1. Some are quicker, but the most typical way is the regular method or 416 method. In which we're going to be doing. Basically, everyone's just going to staff spec back to back and then drop it over to the next person. Although I imagine if you do hard mode Tob, you should know that by now, right? So since we're doing the regular method, actually, I don't know, but I'm ready. Okay, Scythe Swing. Or I should have done 2 Scythe Swings and then the 2 Dawnbringers. In talking about the varying methods, I confused myself a little bit there. So the difference in hard mode Tob versus regular you see right here is that you have to alternate pillars because there's going to be a whole bunch of debris that falls on the pillar that gets attacked. So that's all there is as I get hit a 56 off of bad timing. Oops. Wow, the damage must have been really good on this one, because I finished it off. Very nice. Okay. Ultor on. We're gonna brew up here just to be safe. Oh, I'm off timing. I'm gonna get bounced. Oh, very fortunately, I did not get bounced. Oh, I'm... Okay. Alright. Let's lock in. Let me get situated here real quick. Oh, man. I was trying to think of, like, what I should be saying, right? But then in doing so... Oh, I should have divined. Anyways, the key difference here on Verzik P2 is that whenever it does the cabbage attack, it will create a poison tile for a few ticks. You really only need to alternate between 4 tiles, but what I like to do here is I like to use 5 tiles. So we have 4 tiles in a square behind us that we step back to. And then we also have this 5th tile that we run to. Just so I don't have to count and remember the tiles I dodge to, it's all visual. But in reality, you only need the 4 tiles. Alright, 35%. We made a mistake of healing there. Oops. This has been a rough start for us, but, you know, this is all the same from this point on. It's all the same. Get the crabs. Two side swings should do the trick, and then get back on the boss. I can't even seem to do this correctly right now, I don't know. Talking and playing the game is hard, I guess. There we go. We're really going to safe up here, but our food situation is not great because I just made a very poor mistake in the beginning. Alright, that's P2 down. Now on P3, it is mostly the same as well. One key difference is, you know, sometimes you run your regular Tobs and someone doesn't know how to tank Verzik, right? Well, everyone needs to know how, because Verzik will randomly switch aggro. So right now she's on me, but in a little bit here, she just as easily could be on somebody else. Right there, it swapped aggro. Okay, we are pretty much out of food here, so that's not great. At this point, I'm hoping the entire team stays alive, so we do enough DPS to finish this out of webs. Webs. I was late, so I'm going to skip a hit here. Again, just regular top stuff. Alright, I'm unsure who the tank is here. Hopefully... Oh, I just shift-clicked there. That was a mistake. Alright, webs. We're going to pog web here, or try to. Okay, unfortunately, the aggro was on one of the people that don't know how to pog web. Key difference here in P3 is the boss just healed. You just saw it. It just jumped up to 30%. When it gets down to 5%, it will do another phase where it restores like 25%. Yellows come out, and there are 3 yellows that you have to go to. Unfortunately, I healed the boss right there. Very not ideal. I've set up the pog tank. Maybe not. I'm definitely going to go down here. No? Before we do go down, hopefully I can dump this claw spec. Oh, that was a very humble 0. Oh, I tried the redemption, but unfortunately I did not. 6.7%. You know, very doable if she can avoid the crabs. There's actually a ton of brews on the ground that... Yeah, it's gonna be web soon, too. Oh, there we go, there we go. Oh, the crab's still there, though. Oh my god, the crab's still there. Okay, during the web phase, it's very important to hit on the center tile there. So, missing a couple of hits here, but there we go. Not sure what's going on there, huh? But 1.8%. 0.6. Taking a look at her inventory here, she is... Oh, she's got a 2-dose brew. Oh, there we go. Wouldn't you believe it? The 2 experienced people in the raid actually died, along with 2 of the learners. But we completed the raid. It was not clean by any stretch of the imagination. I guess we're going to open up the chest in here because there are kit chances and whatnot. Personally, it doesn't matter for me, as I have all the kits. Dust included. We get ourselves 29 grimy Avanto and some alcohols. But yeah, Verzik P3 was a little hectic there, but to recap, the boss will heal when it gets down to 5%, and we'll have like a second phase where you have to do another 30% of its health. During the yellows, typically there's only 1 dot in a normal raid, but there are 3 that you have to go to. And the corners I mentioned that were assigned to you at Sot and Verzik, or Zarpus I should say, same thing applies at Verzik. You want to get to the yellow dots that are in your corner. So you saw I ran to the northwest there. That's how you coordinate it with your team. And as far as I know, that's Verzik in hard mode top.